Okay, you fans of Hollywood, where I'm at is on Washington Boulevard at the what once was MGM Studios. It was taken over from Thomas H. Ince Triangle Studios in 1924, and this is where some of the greatest films of all time were filmed, like The Wizard of Oz and the Andy Hardy series, the William Powell, Myrna Loy Thin Man series. All the movies that were made with Clark Gable were filmed here, except for It Happened One Night. That was at Columbia, and that's where Leo the Lion graced that sign for years. The Leo the Lion was there for years, but now they put Columbia. That's where MGM was spelled out for years until they sold out to Sony. And we're coming up to the original entrance that was built in 1916 by Max Sennett, D.W. Griffith, and Thomas H. Ince, the father of the Western. He was the one that created the assembly line type of films where they put out hundreds of films per week. And then he got fed up when Goldwyn took over the studios, and he moved and rebuilt new studios, and now those are the Culver Studios, and they were once Selznick Studios, but they were built in 1916. Here's the original entrance. And when Samuel Goldwyn bought this studio lot, I guess around 1918, then he sold out to Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, and they had Will Rogers and Calvin Coolidge at the opening ceremonies. And here's the other side, another perspective of the opposite to the street. And here's the old entrance where all the movie stars, where the studio that had more stars than are in heaven would enter through here. They drive up in their old limousines, their old-fashioned limousines, their Bentleys, their Rolls Royces. And there was a guardhouse here, and I actually met a man who worked at that guardhouse, and he said that Clark Gable was a real regular guy, mensch guy, always made sure to treat the working classes really like a gentleman, never went to his head, didn't act like a snob. And this church here, St. Augustine, it's been in a lot of films, MGM films. Get a load of that rainbow. I guess that signifies the studio that had more stars than are in heaven. And that was a quote that was made up by the HOWARD DIETZ, the publicist, at one time in the 1920s. Just to give you a rundown of the stars that once worked here: Joan Crawford, and incidentally, Jeopardy is filmed here every day. So when you come to Southern California, this is where you come to see the TV show, the game show. Okay, we're taking a ride here on Madison Avenue. And then here's Culver City over here in the back. And then this was the Irving Thalberg Administration Building. They named it after him in memory when he died, because he was the real reason why this place made such quality films, because he was head of production for years until he died a young man in the 1930s. And if you're a fan, you know he was married to Norma Shearer. And getting back to the stars that graced this lot in the 20s and 30s, Lon Chaney, and if you've ever seen The Unknown with him and Joan Crawford, I would suggest getting that film by Todd Browning, great film. Wallace Beery, Clark Gable, Norma Shearer, Jean Harlow, Spencer Tracy, Jeanette MacDonald, Nelson Eddy, Marie Dressler, William Powell, Myrna Loy in the Thin Man series, the Andy Hardy series with Mickey Rooney, Judy Garland was in a lot of those, Lana Turner, Ava Gardner, Elizabeth Taylor, Gene Kelly, Frank Sinatra. I could go on and on. This place manufactured some of the most highest quality films. And the last time that this MGM ever made any money was in 1959, when it was one of the last films that had any success for this studio. Was Ben-Hur with Charlton Heston, Hugh Griffith, and Stephen Boyd. It garnered 11 Academy Awards, and for a budget of $50 million, it made $150 million. And the last successful musical of all time was Gigi, filmed here with Leslie Caron, Louis Jourdan, who he unfortunately just lost, and Marie Chevalier. Wonderful film. And like I was saying, Thomas H. Ince, he formed a triad with Max Sennett and D.W. Griffith, but he was like a very independent producer, and he didn't like when Goldwyn took over the lot. So he moved a little east, built his own studios, and then when he died, Cecil B. DeMille bought him his studios, and then Pathé, and then Desilu. And Soundslick Studios is where they filmed Gone with the Wind. And he died mysteriously on the yacht of William Randolph Hearst. They claim that he was murdered, allegedly, by William Randolph Hearst fighting over Marion Davy. So there's another shot. And of all the studios, I would say Warner Brothers has the most sound stages extent. It's pretty big. This place was bigger at one time, but as you can see, they built in the back here offices and parking. And if you came in the 50s and 60s before MGM went broke, this tower over here, you could go up there, pay, and you could look down on the back lot, the old back lot for the exterior shots. Like if you've ever seen all the films of the 20s, all the Chinese villages, like Mr. Wu with Lon Chaney. And then I guess that's the power building that has the power generator. And then there's a shot of the water tower. And like I said, there's that tower. And you could go up there and look in the back lot, the old back lot. And if you've ever seen Mr. Wu, those wonderful Chinese villages. And that's the senior center. And those condos right there is where they built all the old lots. Okay, we're gonna come to our last leg of our journey for you fans of popular culture, Hollywood. And that's the senior center. Like I said, that's where the old backlot was. Jack Nicholson started here at MGM, working with Hanna-Barbera, and he talks a lot about all the restaurants that were here at one time. They come out for lunch, and now it's all this, I don't know, just very plastic environment. But here's the entrance, and I guess that's the entrance now you go in if you want to see Jeopardy. And they do have tours of the studio. And this is Overland Boulevard, and this the entrance is at 10202 West Washington, and that's a National Historic Landmark. And here you go, the new entrance, and now they've been updating it, and there's that guard. And the way I got in here in the 80s is I got in here surreptitiously because I worked for a messenger service, and when I went in there, I parked and I just ran around looking at all the lot, just totally intrigued with it all. And then here's one of the brand new offices where all the movie stars have their production offices. Okay, here's Overland Boulevard, and that's Washington Boulevard, and now we come to the end of this little circuit of MGM Studios. Okay, thank you for watching this video, and please subscribe to my channel. Okay, thank you very much.